Hello, my name is Dan Colgan, and I am the organist and music guy here at Gloria Day Lutheran Church in Olympia, Washington. Today is March 5th, and the hymn that I would like to look at is Lift High the Cross, number 660 in our red ELW hymnals. This is the opening hymn used in worship this coming Sunday. The text of this was written by George W. Kitchen, spelt Kitchin, who lived from 1827 to 1912. Kitchen was English and the son of an Anglican rector. He studied at Oxford and was ordained an Anglican deacon, then later a pastor. However, most of his career was spent in the academic world, as a dean or headmaster of one various school or another. He ended his career as Chancellor of Durham University. The text of this hymn was written in 1887 specifically for a hymn festival hosted by the Society of the Propagation of the Gospel in Winchester Cathedral. It's worth mentioning that Michael R. Newbolt significantly revised the text for its publication in Hymns Ancient and Modern, or as you know, as I like to call that hymnal, Hymns Altered and Mangled. The original did not have a refrain, but it had 8 verses. In Newbolt's edition, he turned that into a hymn with a refrain and 12 couplets, or 6 verses. A shortened version containing 4 verses of that is what appears in our hymnals today. The tune of this, named Crucifer, was written for this hymn as it appeared in Hymns Ancient and Modern. The composer was Sidney H. Nicholson, who was also English. Nicholson's family moved to Australia when he was an unnamed infant. His father had a job lined up as the first chancellor of the University of Sydney. Upon arrival there, Nicholson's father loved the city so much that he named his infant Sydney, and therein our composer got his name. Soon, however, as a late teen, he found his way back to London, also studying at Oxford, and went on to be the organist at Westminster Abbey from 1918 to 1927. He also went on to found the Royal School of Church Music, which is still very, very active today. He was also the chairman of Hymns Ancient and Modern, and composed a number of hymn tunes for inclusion there. As I mentioned, our hymn today is one of those. I want to talk for a minute about the text and further edits that have been made to this for our ELW and other hymnals. Let's start with verse 2. It reads, "All newborn servants of the crucified bear on their brows the seal of him who died." Now, the original, printed in the LBW, our current hymnal's predecessor, reads, "All newborn soldiers of the crucified bear on their brows the seal of him who died." Back to verse 1. We have printed, "Come, Christians, follow where our captain trod, our King victorious, Christ, the Son of God." Now, the United Methodist hymnal, as verse 1 prints, "Come, Christians, follow this triumphant sign, the hosts of God in unity combine." And of course, I had to go look up those verses that were mysteriously missing. One was quite dull. The other, actually included in the LBW, reads, "Led on their way by this triumphant sign, the hosts of God in conquering ranks combine." So, I will admit, I've always loved the tune of this hymn. It's well written, it's jaunty, it has fun inner parts, especially for the tenors and basses to sing. But I'll be blunt, I've never really felt a connection with this text. All of this conquering in the name of Christ talk is just a bit off-putting, personally. And it seems like our hymnal editors throughout the years were maybe thinking the same thing. omitting a verse about conquering ranks for our current hymnal, and changing language about soldiers to language about servants. But do these changes really fix the overarching sentiment of this? Does it need to be fixed? In researching this further, it turns out the content of this hymn has been a topic of discussion for a number of years. Hymn scholar Stanley L. Osborne, the founding director of the Summer Institute of Church Music, says that its, quote, images are biblical, its moods are expectant, its promises courageous, and its demands costly, while stating that the cross in the hymn is a symbol of the love of Jesus. However, Gail Ramshaw, an ELCA Lutheran and the past president of the North American Academy of Liturgy, takes a different view. She states that she considers it an, quote, endorsement of the Gospel of John's description of the Passion, and focuses on the cross as a source of agony rather than as a throne of Jesus. Let me read that one again. It's, quote, an endorsement of the Gospel of John's description of the Passion, and focuses on the cross as a source of agony rather than as a throne of Jesus. So reading the chorus of this in the context of that, I suppose that can make sense. Lift high the cross, the love of Christ proclaim, till all the world adore his sacred name. But it doesn't seem to solve its conquering Christism and its forced conversionism issues, at least to me. So what's the takeaway from this? Well, as an organist, I always have believed that it's been my duty and my call to present music of different varieties, genres, periods, and topics. I full well realize that some of my favorites may cause an occasional groan from a choir member. This hymn today is popular, and clearly it speaks to many. Perhaps that's the lesson for today. I'm sure there's a great number of things that might be meaningless or not of particular interest to you, but they may be of great value to others. Today I wish to thank God that I can answer that call as an organist and as a church music guy, and I pray that my understanding of this literature continues to grow and evolve, just as our faith does.